As a brain doctor, I thought I'd seen it all, but even I was shocked. Yes, you heard me. There are certain nuts, yes, the kind we think are healthy, that older women like us should never be eating. Not because they're high in calories or sugar, but because they could be harming our brains. Some may even be linked to cognitive decline and dementia. Stick with me, because today I'm going to reveal the 8 nuts you should never eat as an older woman and explain exactly why they're dangerous for our aging minds. And trust me, number 6 is a sneaky culprit you probably eat every week. Don't miss it. Before we dive in, give this video a like, subscribe for more senior wellness advice, and comment below, what's your favorite nut? I'd love to know if it makes the list. 1. Salted peanuts, the cheap snack that could cost you your mind. Let me tell you something, sweetheart. Salted peanuts might look innocent, even comforting. They're what you find in little bowls at parties or what you toss in your handbag for a quick bite between errands. But do you know what I see when I look at a salted peanut? A tiny, salty grenade going off in your brain, little by little. Here's the deal. Salted peanuts are one of the most heavily processed nuts out there. Most of them are roasted in high-heat industrial oils, like cottonseed or soybean oil. These oils are cheap, sure, but they're full of omega-6 fatty acids, and too much omega-6 causes inflammation. And where does that inflammation go? Straight to the brain. The research is now piling up. Chronic brain inflammation is directly linked to memory loss, depression, and, yes, dementia. But it doesn't stop there. The salt levels in these nuts are sky high for older women, especially those of us with even slightly elevated blood pressure. All that salt narrows the blood vessels, reducing blood flow to the brain. That means less oxygen, less nourishment, and more risk of tiny strokes that often go unnoticed until it's too late. Ever feel like you walked into a room and forgot why? Or lose a word mid-sentence? That's not just aging, darling. That could be a tired brain screaming for help. And let's not forget that peanuts aren't even technically nuts, they're legumes, which are more likely to harbor mold and aflatoxins. Aflatoxins are carcinogenic compounds that also carry potential neurotoxic effects. Yes, even if you're buying the big-name brands. I know they're cheap. I know they're crunchy. But what's the real cost here? Is it worth your mind? 2. Candied pecans. A sweet coating with a dark secret. Oh, candied pecans. They look like little jewels, don't they? Glazed in sugar, sparkling in the sunlight at the holiday table. They're a favorite in gift baskets, in salads, in that sweet potato casserole everyone raves about. But darling, if there's one thing I've learned after all these years, it's that the prettier the nut, the more carefully you should look at it. Candied pecans are sugar bombs, plain and simple. That sweet crunch you love, it's pure processed sugar, often cooked into the nut at high heat. And sugar, especially in large quantities, devastates the brain. It creates what we call advanced glycation end products, and they do exactly what they sound like. They age your cells, including the neurons that keep your thoughts sharp and your memories intact. The worst part, the brain doesn't process sugar like the rest of the body. Too much sugar over time creates a kind of insulin resistance in the brain itself. That means your brain can't use glucose properly. And what happens when the brain's main fuel source starts to fail? Confusion, forgetfulness, and yes, an increased risk of Alzheimer's. In fact, some researchers now call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. Let that sink in. And I haven't even mentioned the additives. Many commercial candied pecans are treated with preservatives, flavor enhancers, and artificial colors. The kind of ingredients that quietly wear away at your health over time. So next time you see those sugary pecans at a potluck, take a breath and walk away. There are sweeter things in life than sugar, and one of them is keeping your mind healthy enough to remember the good old days. 3. Smoked almonds, a smoky trap for your memory. I used to adore smoked almonds. That deep, savory flavor. It made me feel like I was snacking on something elegant, sophisticated, even. But once I did a little digging, especially through the lens of brain health, my entire opinion changed. These little things are more toxic than they let on. First, let's talk about the smoke. That flavor you love doesn't come from grandma's wood stove. It comes from liquid smoke, artificial flavorings, and sometimes even sprayed on PAHs, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These compounds are known neurotoxins. They accumulate in the body, cross the blood-brain barrier, and slowly, over time, begin damaging neurons. Think of it like little smoke signals going off in your brain, only no one's coming to help. And like the salted peanuts, these nuts are often roasted in inflammatory seed oils and drenched in sodium. All of this adds up to an invisible assault on your memory and focus. The worst part, you can't even taste the danger. It hides beneath the smoky flavor, the salt, the crunch. It's a quiet enemy. I've had friends say, but they're better than chips. Sure, but comparing bad to worse doesn't make something good. If it's hurting your brain, it doesn't belong in your pantry. For macadamias and hydrogenated oils, a buttery, nut-turned brain-damaging bomb. Now listen, I'm not trying to demonize all macadamias. Raw, fresh macadamias in moderation can actually be good for you. But the kind sold in most mixed nut tins or travel snack packs, they're a whole different story. The danger isn't the nut itself. It's the oil it's roasted in. And when that oil is hydrogenated, oh honey, we have a serious problem. Hydrogenated oils are full of trans fats, arguably one of the worst things you can put in your body. You see, trans fats sneak into your cell membranes and stiffen them up, literally. That includes brain cells. Over time, they've been shown to reduce brain volume, impair memory, and even increase beta-amyloid plaques, the very thing linked to Alzheimer's disease. The FDA has started phasing out trans fats in the U.S., but don't be fooled, they still lurk in many imported or outdated products. And in places like Australia or the UK, some food manufacturers haven't caught up yet. Older women like us are especially vulnerable because we often metabolize fats more slowly than we used to. So these toxic oils linger longer in our systems. Even worse, macadamias are already very calorie-dense and high in fat. Add hydrogenated oils, salt, and preservatives to that, and suddenly your luxurious snack becomes a full-blown neurological threat. My advice: skip any macadamia that isn't labeled raw, organic, or dry roasted. It's not worth trading creamy texture for a foggy mind. 5. Honey roasted cashews, sweet, soft, and brain scorching. Now I'll be honest with you, I used to love honey roasted cashews. That soft crunch, that kiss of sweetness, they felt like such a harmless indulgence. But then I started noticing something odd. Every time I snacked on them, I'd get a little sluggish, a little foggy. I'd walk into a room and forget why. So I did some research, and what I found horrified me. Honey roasted cashews are like a Trojan horse. On the outside, they look friendly, natural even. Honey sounds wholesome, doesn't it? But these nuts are usually roasted in refined sugars, then tossed in oils that have been heated to extreme temperatures. That means advanced glycation end products, AGEs, are created, compounds that age your brain cells at the molecular level. Over time, AGEs build up in your brain like rust, slowing down communication between cells. That means poor memory, less focus, and a much higher risk of cognitive diseases. And here's the hidden danger with cashews in particular. They're naturally high in copper. Now, copper isn't all bad. We need a little of it, but as we get older, our bodies have a harder time regulating minerals like this. And too much copper in the brain, that's been linked to oxidative stress, which contributes to Alzheimer's. So if you're snacking on cashews every day, especially sweetened ones. You're piling sugar, oil, and excess copper into your system all at once. That's a dangerous trio, my dear. 6. Flavored mixed nuts, a chemical cocktail for your brain. Ah, yes, the so-called party mix, those brightly colored tins with barbecue, sour cream, chili lime, or ranch-flavored nuts. You see them on snack aisles and in travel packs, and they seem fun, don't they? A little variety, a little kick. But if you saw what was really inside those mixed nuts, you'd drop them faster than a hot potato. First off, most flavored nuts are loaded with artificial flavorings, preservatives, food dyes, and emulsifiers. Many of these chemicals have been flagged for possible neurotoxicity. Ingredients like monosodium glutamate, MSG, BHA, BHT, TBHQ, these aren't just alphabet soup. These are lab-borne compounds that can cross the blood-brain barrier and disrupt your neurotransmitters. That means changes to your mood, your memory, even your sleep. And when you're older, your body simply isn't as efficient at clearing these toxins out. But wait, it gets worse. These nuts are often roasted, not once, but twice, in industrial oils. And the seasonings? They're almost always sugar and salt-based, with just enough of each to make your brain crave more. That's how they get you. One handful turns into 3, and the more you eat, the more you feed the inflammation cycle. You don't feel it right away, but give it a few months, and you'll wonder why you can't remember your neighbor's name or where you left your reading glasses. 7. Old or rancid walnuts, from brain food to brain rot. Now here's a twist. Walnuts are often hailed as a superfood for the brain. And in their fresh, raw state, they absolutely are. They're rich in omega-3s, antioxidants, and vitamin E. But here's the dirty little secret. Walnuts spoil quickly. They go rancid faster than most people realize. And when they do, they become downright dangerous to your cognitive health. When a walnut turns rancid, it means the oils inside have oxidized. And oxidized oils create free radicals, unstable molecules that attack your brain cells like tiny vandals. They break down cell walls, scramble communication, and trigger inflammation in the brain. You may not see or smell the difference at first, but if your walnuts taste even slightly bitter or off, that's oxidation. And that's your red flag to stop immediately. I've met so many women who store walnuts in the pantry for weeks or months. That's a huge mistake. Walnuts should be kept in the fridge or freezer, ideally in a glass jar, not in a bag on the counter. If you're buying them in bulk from the store, there's a good chance they've already started turning before you even bring them home. So be choosy, be cautious, and never assume a healthy nut is still healthy if it's been sitting too long. Because when it comes to your brain, freshness isn't optional, it's essential. 8. Brazil. Nuts in excess, the selenium time bomb. Let me tell you a little story. A friend of mine named Carol started eating Brazil nuts every morning, just 3 or 4. They helped her nails grow, and she'd read somewhere they were great for the thyroid. But after a few months, she started feeling foggy, tired. She couldn't finish sentences like she used to. Turns out, she was slowly poisoning herself with selenium overdose. Now, Brazil nuts are a curious nut. 1 or 2 can be beneficial. They're the richest natural source of selenium on Earth. And yes, selenium supports brain health in small amounts. But here's the kicker. Just 2 Brazil nuts can give you your entire daily maximum. And many women eat 4, 5, even 6 without realizing the damage they're doing. Too much selenium causes symptoms like fatigue, irritability, memory problems, and in severe cases, nerve damage. And remember, our detox systems slow down as we age. So the selenium builds up. It doesn't go away overnight. You can't just stop eating them and bounce back in a week. It's a slow, creeping toxicity that can mimic early dementia. So my advice, limit yourself to 1 Brazil, nut a day, max. Or better yet, skip them entirely and choose safer sources of selenium like eggs or fish. Your brain is worth more than a fancy nut,